Welcome to this podcast from Stratfor, leader in global intelligence.
For many, in the lazy, hazy days of summer, not much happens at weekends, but today we can bring to your attention 3 items of significance, all, one way or another, connected with elections. Welcome to Stratfor Today. I'm Colin Chapman. The news from Japan is perhaps the most salient. The world's second largest economy is out of recession, recording growth in the second quarter of 0.9%. That's 3 times the growth Germany and France surprised us with on Friday. Whether this will be enough to reverse the polls that show the long-standing Liberal Democratic government is likely to be kicked out at the coming general election seems doubtful, especially as the opposition Democratic Party has just upped the ante by promising to spend 5.5 billion yen a year on child allowances it hopes will encourage couples to produce more babies. $58 billion, that's the equivalent cost in greenbacks, is a lot of money for a country which has already got a chronic level of government debt and systemic weaknesses, though of course one of those weaknesses is an ageing population and too few kids. Of course the existing government is taking the credit for the surprise boost in growth. Like Germany, it brought in a popular cash for old bangers scheme that encouraged people to buy new cars. Across in Iran, President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is amazingly encouraging women not to produce more offspring, but to get into high office. In a television address, he said he'd been nominating at least 3 women to his new cabinet. This will be a first in the Islamic Republic's history. We know the names of 2 of them, Professor Marzieh Vahid Dashjurdi, a gynecologist, who's to head up health, and Fatima Ajorio, an MP, who's been nominated to the job of Welfare and Social Justice Minister. After his disputed victory at Iran's elections, Ahmadinejad is clearly seeking to placate the women who joined the protests. What the hard-line clerics in the holy city of Qom will have to say about the nominations will be revealing. They've shown no taste for female ministers, and the move could drop some salt into the healing wounds in the relationship between the president and Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. By contrast, in Afghanistan, President Hamid Karzai has shown no such consideration for the fair sex. He's just introduced, in legislation governing the family life of the Shia minority, legislation allowing a husband to starve his wife to death if she refuses to have sex. When the bill was first introduced, such were the protests that Karzai withdrew it, so to speak. Its reintroduction is likely deliberate. Karzai is desperate to dampen down mounting violence from Taliban supporters ahead of this week's election, which has already seen a devastating suicide bomb attack on NATO's headquarters in Kabul. According to Stratfor's sources, the government has been trying to buy off the more moderate elements of the Taliban, with promises of which the return of the no sex, no food legislation is just one. I'm Colin Chapman at Stratfor. Thanks for being with me today. Marla Dial will be with you tomorrow.